our lesson 2, we will discuss all about intersubjectivity. Let's have the introduction of the lesson. Filipinos are known to the world as very friendly people. We can easily build friendships with each other, and some of these are proven to be lasting. Unfortunately, with the advent of social media and the use of high-tech gadgets, establishing a genuine and more meaningful relationships become a challenge. It is important, therefore, that we become more critical and reflective of how we understand human relation in today's modern world. Let's study the meaning of intersubjectivity. The interaction between the self and the other is related to the philosophical concept of intersubjectivity. Similar to the word interpersonal, the word intersubjectivity is also comprised of three groups of letters and or words, namely, letter A, intern. Again, this is a prefix which means between. B, subject. This refers to a person or thing that is being discussed with. And it, a suffix used to form nouns which expresses state or condition. From this, we can conclude that intersubjectivity means a condition of relationship between subjects or person. If I relate with a friend, for example, he or she relates back to me. Intersubjectivity occurs. Philosophically, this means that when the self recognizes the other and the other recognizes the self, intersubjectivity happens. Intersubjectivity also carries the meaning of a unique relationship between separate individuals or subjects. When we say unique, we are referring to the relationship that a human person may experience when he or she engages in a very intimate and personal relationship with others. When a person, for example, loves others, he or she gives himself or herself to them and at the same time receive them into his or her life and vice versa. This mutual self-giving and receiving becomes possible because of the person's inner life or interiority or panloob na buhay, where his or her thoughts, feelings, inner struggles, reaction, and the like resides. I believe that there is someone in your life, a parent, friend, or a mentor whom you feel very close with. Maybe because of this closeness, both of you are able to share to each other your inner thoughts and feelings without any reservation. Intersubjectivity or the self-interaction comes in two levels, which are: first one is the first level. This refers to the simple awareness of the self about the existence of the other, while the other level is the deeper level. This refers to the awareness of the self as being seen by others. Actually, you have constantly experienced these two levels of interaction in your life. For instance, as you are reading this module by the window, you have noticed that there are people who are passing by your house. In an instant, you have become aware of the presence of these people who are both similar and different from you in many aspects. This noticing or becoming aware of the presence of others already illustrate the first level of self-interaction. But then, suppose that one of them suddenly stops and looks straight at you in the eyes. Automatically, you will become aware that this person is also conscious of your own presence as a person. This particular self-consciousness marks the deeper level of self-other interaction. So, ang intersubjectivity ay mayroon dalawang level. The first one is the first level. Kapag sinabi nating first level, you are aware that others are existing. Or alam mo na mayroong nag-e-exist na tao sa iyong paligid. While the other level naman, yung deeper level, kapag naman yung others ay nakikita ka na bilang isang tao. Katulad nga ng example na binigay, katulad noon kung halimbawa kayo ay nagbabasa ng inyong books or your modules by your beside your window and then meron dumaan and then notice nyo sila, then that is an example of the first level because you are aware that they are existing. Pero kapag yung taong dumaan ay nagkatingin ng kayong dalawa, napatingin siya sa iyo, so doon at naging aware siya na nag-e-exist ka, ibig sabihin, yun ang deeper level of intersubjectivity wherein that other person are aware that you are existing. Now imagine again that this person who is staring back at you is not actually a stranger but someone who is very familiar to you. Perhaps he or she is your crush. This awareness of him or her gazing at you will result in a feeling of self-consciousness. In fact, several questions will begin to pop up in your head, such as, what is he or she is thinking when he or she looks at me? Is he or she is about to say something to me? Indeed, this unique phenomenon of the human gaze sets our interaction as human persons apart from the interactions of other species. In relation dun sa example natin kanina, ngayon kung ang person na dumaan beside your window is tumingin sa inyo or nagkatingin ng kayong dalawa and you notice and na siya yung crush mo and then nalaman mo na nakatingin siya sa'yo, you will have in your mind na bakit kaya siya nakatingin sa akin, may gusto kaya siya sabihin or ano. So magiging conscious kayo sa inyong mga sarili. So hindi nyo alam kung ang inyong gagawin. So in that example, makikita natin yung difference ng human sa mga other animals. So hindi nagiging conscious yung ibang animals when they are with other animals. But we as a person, meron tayong feeling na ganito. Meron tayong tinatawag na self-consciousness. And yung interaction natin na meron tayo sa bawat tao na hindi katulad ng sa ibang animals ay tinatawag nating human gaze. Certainly, the awareness of the self in the other is an important element in all other aspects of interpersonal interactions. The way we act or react with others is often influenced by our ideas of how these people see us. Going back to my example about your crush, if he or she smiles while looking back at you, perhaps you will conclude that he or she likes you in return. And this idea will affect how you behave when he or she is around. This is also true when considering social context. Oftentimes, we modify our behavior depending on where we are. Our behavior in the church, for example, is different from our behavior when we are at a lively party. These actions of presenting yourself in a certain way when we dealing with others or your social context is what we refer to as seeming. So in relation ulit sa example natin kanina, kung yung crush mo ay gumiti din sa'yo, so magkakaroon ka ng intuition within yourself na maybe may crush din siya sa'yo. And then kapag nandiyan siya sa paligid mo, parang hindi mo alam kung ano yung gagawin. Parang you will behave a certain matter na parang mahihiya ka and you don't know what to do. And ganun nga yung tinatawag nating seeming, na nababago yung ating behavior depende kung nasa saan tayo or kung sino ang kasama natin. Katulad nga ng example na binigay dito na kapag tayo ay nasa church, syempre hindi ating pwedeng gawin yung behavior na ginagawa natin kapag kasama natin yung barkada natin at nagsasaya tayo or nagpa-party. Seeming may behave in two forms. The first one is the positive seeming, the pleasant behavior we showed when we are in a certain place or in the presence of a very important person. And the second one is negative seeming, being plastic or sip-sip, where when expressing manipulative behaviors to promote selfish interest. Again, seeming are the actions of presenting yourself in a certain way when dealing with others or social context. So, ibig sabihin kapag sinabi nating seem is kung paano mo pinapakita ang iyong sarili kapag meron kang nakakasalamuhang ibang tao. So, yung seeming daw ay may dalawang forms. The first one is the positive seeming. So, kapag kaharap ninyo yung isang taong very important to you, for example, your boss, so you have to behave properly because nakikita nyo someone who is superior than you that needs to be respected. So, second one is kapag nandoon naman tayo sa mga sacred place, for example, we are in the church, of course, hindi natin pwedeng gawin yung behavior natin na ginagawa natin when we are with our friends, na nagsasaya tayo. So, the second one naman is the negative seeming. Being plastic or sip-sip or when expressing manipulative behaviors to promote selfish interest. Ito naman na kapag meron ka yung kaharap na tao, you are good on them but kapag nasa likod na, you are not doing the behavior na pinapakita nyo sa harap niya. So, that is the negative seeming. Kasi hindi maganda yung pinapakita mong behavior when you are in front of him or her. Pero kapag nasa likod na, iba na yung ginagawa mo na hindi mo pinapakita doon sa kanyang bilang isang tao. Let's discuss some philosophical concept regarding intersubjectivity. The first philosophical concept is the Martin Buber's I-thou and I-it relationship. He views the human person in his or her wholeness, totality, concrete experiences, and relatedness to the world. The interpersonal is signified by the I-thou relation. In Buber's I-thou philosophy, the human person is a subject, a being distinct from things or from object, has directed and mutual sharing of self. Sa I-thou relationship, dito nakikita mo yung isang tao bilang isang tao. So, what does it mean? Ibig sabihin na kung ano yung pinapakita mo sa sarili mo, so ganun din ang pinapakita mo sa ibang tao. So, pinapakita mo sa kanila na sila ay bilang isang tao na kailangang igalang, na kailangang irespeto. So, ganun yung views when it comes to I-thou relationship. On the contrary, the I-it relationship is a person-to-thing or subject-to-object relationship. So, ibig sabihin naman ng I-it, kabaligtaran siya ng I-thou. Kung ang I-thou ay nakikita mo yung isang tao bilang isang tao, dito naman sa I-it relationship, nakikita mo yung isang tao bilang isang bagay na you don't need some respect na parang hindi mo pinapakita ng pag-uugali na dapat na matanggap ng isang tao. So that is the I-it relationship. So for Buber, a life dialogue is mutual sharing of persons' interior selves in the realm of the human, interhuman. I-thou relationship is person to person. It involves a mutual sharing of selves, acceptance, and sincerity. So dapat in I-thou relationship, dapat pinapakita natin or we are showing our authentic selves and we are acceptant and we are sincere when we are interacting to them. And it entails authentic dialogue. The human person attains fulfillment in the realm of the interpersonal or meeting the other through being genuine. So being genuine, dapat when we are interacting with other people, we have to be genuine or we have to be truly who we are as a person. Let's have another philosophical concept coming from Karol Wojtyla, we relation. For Karol Wojtyla, we all know him as Pope Saint John Paul II. The social dimension is presented by we relation. The human person exists and acts. He or she is consciously acting, has a will, and is self-determined. Action discloses the nature of the human agent. Participation explains the essence of the human person. The human person is directed toward relating with others and sharing in the communal life for the common good. Through participation, a human person shares in the humanness of others. In the idea of Carol Wojtyla, na parang ang tao, we are born here, or nature na ng taon is to interact with other people. And when that interaction, kailangan makarelate tayo with other people. Kailangan natin silang magkaroon tayo ng good communication with them. We have to know them as a person. So, para maabot natin yung tinatawag nating common good. Because when we talk about common good, ito yung nakakabuti, hindi lang para sa'yo, but for all the people surrounding you. And when the person share each other or participate with each other or have a collaboration with each other, doon natin mararamdaman yung humanness ng isa't isa. So what is the similarities in Buber and Wojtyla's social dimension of self? First one, that both Martin Buber and Karol Wojtyla believe in the notion of concrete experience or existence of the human person. So parehas si Martin Buber at si Pope St. John Paul II, naniniwala sila na maganda magkaroon ng concrete experience o yung totoong interaction natin with other people, and naniniwala sila that a person is existing as a person. The second one must not lose the sight of himself or herself in a concrete experience. And the last one, that the human person is a total and not dual nor composite of some kind of dimensions. Na pag tiningnan natin yung isang tao, nakikita natin yung not just one aspects of him or her, but we are seeing him as the totality of being a person. Let's have now what we call the authentic dialogue. You may have not yet forgotten Lily Cruz in the telenovela Wildflower. One of the most striking moments there was when she changed her identity to Ivy Aguas in order to exact revenge to the Argentes. However, unlike that of Lily, most of our human interaction actually are based not on deception or panlilinglang but on truth. Because of our dignity and goodness, our interaction are geared toward what is good and beneficial. This deeper and more genuine interaction is called dialogue. A genuine dialogue is attained when all of the following conditions are present. First one, when the self realizes that the other is a unique or distinct person. The second one, when the two individuals begin to view each other as an other. And the last one, when the two persons truly acknowledging the presence of each other. When we talk about authentic dialogue, hindi to panliling lang. When we talk about authentic, ibig sabihin being genuine, ito yung maganda nating interaction or real or true interaction with other people. So paano ba natin na masasabi na yung ginagawa nating interaction with other people are genuine or authentic? First one, when the self realizes that the other is a unique or distinct person, kung ma-realize natin within ourselves na bawat tao is distinct at lahat ng tao ay magkakaiba. The second one is when the two individuals begin to view each other as an other. Halimbawa, tayong dalawa. When we acknowledge you as a person, when you acknowledge me as a person, then that is where authentic dialogue starts. The second one, when the two persons really acknowledging the presence of each other. Hindi lang natin na-view or tiningnan ang bawat isa bilang isang tao, but na-acknowledge natin na you are existing there, that you have a purpose, and I am existing here and I have my own purpose. So nagkakaroon na ng interaction between the two. And when we attain those three, authentic dialogue na yung ginagawa natin with other people. Ordinarily, we understand dialogue as having any conversation with someone. However, it does not always follow that, because when you are talking with someone, you are already in dialogue with him or her. Philosophically, a dialogue can only occur when the words uttered or the actions and gestures performed are rooted in one's inner life or interiority. That is why only beings with interiority or panloob na buhay are capable of engaging in dialogue. Here, a person's words, expression, and body language becomes the way by which he or she is able to express a part of him or herself to another person. On the other hand, the person is also capable here of receiving the words, thoughts, emotion, and the ideas of another person. A dialogue, therefore, happens when two persons open up to each other and give and receive one another in their encounter. And pag sinabi nating interiority or panloob na buhay, nandito yung ating mga thoughts, feelings, yung mga inner struggles natin, yung reaction natin towards others. So nandito yun sa tinatawag nating panloob na buhay. Bakit daw yung mga persons lawang with interiority are capable of engaging in a dialogue? Kasi when we are expressing ourselves with others, kapag nagkukwento na tayo ng ating emosyon, when we are showing our inner struggles, kapag binabanggit na natin sa ibang tao, yung inner thoughts natin, yung reactions natin towards something, and when that person also open up with us with their inner struggles, their experiences in life, doon natin masasabi that there is authentic dialogue, because inopen na natin ang ating sarili sa bawat isa. So nagkakaroon na tayo ng different encounter with each other. Let's have naman interaction with disadvantaged. So as a human person, we have the capacity to experience the experience of another. Philosophers can call this human capacity to share the emotions of other as empathy, which is also an important aspect of intersubjectivity. Perhaps you have already heard that empathy can be understood as a feeling in or placing yourself into the shoes of another. For example, how would you behave around a friend who just informed you that his or her parent has died? Empathy enables you not only to share your friend's grief and offer him or her comfort during this difficulty, but also to own the grief of the person even if it was not your own parent's death. When you talk about the interaction with disadvantage, pag sinabi nating disadvantage, ito yung mga person na hindi nakakaranas yung karaniwang nararanasan ng iba. For example, those with special needs or those who are in the underprivileged sectors, o yung mga person na who is undergoing difficulties in life. So, yun tinatawag nating disadvantaged. So, kasabi nga bilang tao, nakaka-experience tayo ng experience ng ibang tao. And ang tawag doon is empathy or being in the shoes of another person. Bakit tayo minsan nagkakaroon tayo ng decision? Because we have our empathy. Tinitingnan natin yung sarili natin. Paano kaya kung tayo nandoon sa posisyon ng isang tao? Ano kaya ang pwede nating gawin? So, dito sa binigay na example, kung mayroon tayong kaibigan, halimbawa, namatayan ng relatives. So, ngayon, gagawin natin is to put ourselves in his or her situation para mas maintindihan natin sila. Kasi once na nilagay natin ang sarili natin sa kinatatayuan nila, doon natin mas malalaman kung ano ba yung nararamdaman ng isang tao. Doon natin mas nakikilala or doon natin mas napapatunayan kung ano ba yung nararamdaman nung kaharap natin o ng taong kausap natin. So, for that example, yung namatayan, so doon mo na makikita na kailangan mo siyang i-comfort kasi hindi madali yung kanyang pinagdadaanan. Na minsan, the grief o yung pagluksa ng isang tao is also mararamdaman mo na din because you are doing empathy. Another characteristic of meaningful and genuine human relationship is availability. Availability is the willingness of a person to be present and be at the disposal of another. Filipinos are actually very good at this. For example, if you go to an unfamiliar place and don't know which way to go, normally there are kababayans who will approach you and extend their help to you voluntarily. The concept of availability means that you are willing to be at one's side 24/7. The ethics of care can help us understand why we need to make ourselves available for others. This understanding encourages individuals to help other people, most especially the least, the lost, and the last because it is our moral obligation to do so. Other than empathy, meron pa tayong characteristic to have a meaningful and genuine human relationship. And ang tawag doon, the first one is availability. Ito yung willingness ng isang tao to be present. So, sabi sa example na when we go to unfamiliar place at hindi natin alam yung pupuntahan natin, so meron tayong mga kababayan na lalapit sa atin para tanungin kung saan ka pupunta, bakit kung naliligaw ka ba, at tutulungan ka para mapupunta ka doon sa gusto mong marating. So, yung konsepto ng availability is that there are always a person who is willing to be your side 24/7, na meron tong taong laging maaasahan na nandiyan lagi para sa iyo para tumulong. So we have the another concept or mean of characteristics of meaningful and genuine human relationship. The other, which is the ethics of care. So ethics of care help us understand why we need to make ourselves available for others. Ito naman pinaparealize sa atin ng ethics of care kung bakit ba kailangan na available tayo sa lahat ng tao or dapat we are ready to be there with other people. So, kapag naintindihan natin yung ethics of care, it encourage us to help other people. Doon natin marirealize na kailangan natin tulungan yung ibang tao, na kailangan natin tulungan lalo na yung mga nangangailangan, mga taong nasa laylayan, yun nga ang sabi nila, nasa laylayan, or the people who are underprivileged. So, kailangan natin gawin to because it as our moral obligation as a human person to help to other people. Indeed, there are people who would simply ignore those who seek for their help. They do this because they have a negative view about human relationships. People having this negative view often suspect them that any form of human action is being influenced by selfish interest. Hence, for them, it should be seen as not genuine or even deceptive or mapanlin lang. When a person adopts this kind of view, he or she is said to be experiencing alienation. Alienation arises when a person stops to view the other as an authentic person and merely considers the other as a mere object to satisfy his or her personal interest. Bakit meron namang ibang tao na hindi ginagawa yung ethics of care? Because they have negative view on human relationship. So, this negative view ang mga idea nila is that yung ginagawang action ng human is that they are involved, there is an involvement of selfish interest, na parang you are doing this because alam mo may benefit na makukuha sa ibang tao. And dun mo makikita yung tinatawag nating being deceptive or not being genuine or mapanlin lang. Na nandiyan lang siya kapag kailangan. So, kapag yung person ay na-adapt yung kind of view na ito, yun yung tinatawag nating alienation. Na kung saan, you are not seeing other person as an authentic person or a genuine person. Pero, tinitingnan mo lang siya as bilang isang bagay na magsasatisfy sa mga pangangailangan mo. For example, siguro nararamdaman ng iba to sa atin when it comes to alienation, na may mga tao na or may mga kakilala tayo na lumalapit lang sa atin kapag may kailangan or lumalapit lang sa atin kung kailan lang need nila ng help or they're just doing this para maka-satisfy dun sa mga pangangailangan nila. So because of that kind of relationship with them, nagkakaroon minsan tayo ng doubt dun sa mga taong nakakasalamuhan natin. Dun natin nabubuo yung tinatawag nating alienation. Be that as it may, in spite of our negative experiences of human interaction, we are still called to extend our hands in building a community of harmony. This is very important, especially that our world today seems to be surrounded with all forms of conflicts and violence. We can only do this if we recognize that the other person is the same as ourselves, a person with dignity that needs to be upheld and respected. In this time of pandemic, we really need to have the community of harmony. We have to disregard our negative experiences of human interactions. Maybe you see other person as a satisfaction to your needs, but we have to remove that. We have to remove the idea of alienation. We have to build a community of harmony, especially here in the Philippines, that we are not just experiencing pandemic, we are also experiencing typhoons like other disasters like um, Typhoon Rolly and Typhoon Quinta that was devastated the Luzon area. And these people really needs help, and we have to offer our hands to them. We have to lift them up. We have to help them with open arms, because we have to see these people as a person the same as ourselves. These people also have dignity that need to be upheld and respected. So as a human person, we have to build a community of harmony in order for us to help these people who are experiencing these negativities in our lives. We all know that we all also face negativities in life, and there are people who are there to help us in our in the times that we are down in our life, and this is the right time to reciprocate it, to help other people, to inspire them, to really lift them up, and to give them dreams that and hope that they will surpass this kind of pandemic or this kind of calamities, and eventually they will achieve the dreams that they have in life. How can we embrace differences? Not all stories, movies, or telenovelas end happily. Many of them unfortunately end with a sad note. Yet, what seems to be common among these narratives is the realization of the main protagonist on the necessity to accept the things that had already gone by and embrace all the past experiences, maybe good or bad. And when he succeeded to that, he or she becomes at peace with himself or herself. In similar manner, the acts of accepting or pagtanggap and embracing pagyakap all our differences are also beneficial, especially in building a community of harmony. Without a doubt, harmony is hindered because some people have intentionally refused to accept and embrace our diversity or pagkakaiba. Some individuals, for instance, overemphasize the differences and choose to favor one look, behavior, view, belief, and idea over the other. In the process, some of those who do not carry the characteristics that are preferred to by the majority in society are the ones who usually receive rejections or pagtakwil, discrimination or pagtrato ng hindi pantay, abuse or pang-abuso, neglect or pagpabaya, contempt o pag-alipusta, and the like. Paano ba natin mayayakap yung differences ng iba? Una, alamin natin bakit nga ba hindi na-accept yung iba. Kasi yung mga taong ito ay ino-overemphasize nila yung difference nila sa iba na hindi nila tinitingnan ng isang tao ay kaparehas lang din natin. Mas nakikita nila yung differences ng taong yon kaysa doon sa pagkakatulad natin sa kanila. For example, kapag may nakita tayong isang tao na mas maitim sa atin or mas kakaiba yung itsura sa atin, nagkakaroon na agad tayo ng negative idea. Doon nabubuo yung yung discrimination na ating ginagawa na pagtrato ng hindi pantay. Because nagkakaroon na tayo ng prejudices dun sa taong yon without knowing him or her as a person. At with that discrimination, doon mabubuo yung ating rejection or pagtakwil sa kanila, and it will eventually lead to abuse and contempt or pag-alipusta. And with that, hindi natin nakikita na pantay-pantay lang tayo bilang isang tao, which the truth is, talagang pantay-pantay lang tayo. We are breathing the same air, we are eating the same food, we are living in the same world. So, anong pinagkaiba natin sa kanila? It's just that they have different preferences at hindi natin nakikita yon as a person. Nakikita natin siya as a difference but not uniqueness. Kasi difference is different from uniqueness. At then, kapag once na overcome na natin itong mga ideas na to, yung negative thoughts natin regarding person, doon natin makikita yung what we call the acceptance and embracing. Kapag na-accept na natin at ni-embrace natin isang tao, dito pa mabubuo yung community of harmony. Kasi hindi na natin tinitingnan yung ibang tao as a different person, but we are seeing that person as the same with us. Kung paano natin minamahal ang ating sarili, ganun din dapat ang pagmamahal na ma-receive nila galing sa atin. We are not here to discriminate other people. We are here to love other people. Nandito tayo para mahalin ang bawat isa. Nandito tayo para ipakita at suportahan ang bawat isa regardless ng kanilang race, ng kanilang culture, ng kanilang tradition, ng kanilang itsura. Maputi man yan or maitim, we are the same people. Just to remind yourself that you are also a person like them. There are no difference between the two of you, between us as a person. And we have to accept that. We have to accept whatever their gender, their belief, they have. So we have to accept them, embrace them and accept them for who they are and what they are as a person. I am sure that you are already aware that there are people in our society who have endured a lot of hardships and discrimination because of their physical or mental condition. As a group, we call them differently abled person or may kakulangan sa pagkatao. However, have you realized that despite their limitation, these individuals can actually master the same skill as those who are fully able? Have you also realized that these individuals are actually having their hopes and aspirations too like us? And are you aware that many of them are actually able to rise above their disability and become productive and happy individuals? So, we have this term called differently abled person o may kakulangan sa pagkatao. So, because of this, these people are yung tinatawag nating disadvantaged people, like the people with special needs or may mga kakulangan. So, meron din tayong tinatawag na underprivileged people. Ito naman yung mga galing sa poor sectors. So, because of that, parang despite of their limitations or nung kanilang pagkakakulang bilang isang tao, they do not see this as limitation. I will give you an example of those people who are experiencing this kind of experience and how can they able to overcome it. If you know Nick Vujicic do not have arms nor legs. So, but he's still living. He built his own family. He goes to different countries to give motivational speaks. He also can do swimming. So there are a lot of the things he can do. Hindi ako marulong ng mga but Nick Vujicic, wala siyang kamay, wala siyang paa, wala din siyang legs. Paano siya nakakalangoy? Right? So nakikita natin na may advantage ang ibang tao kahit sila ay may kakulangan sa kanilang mga sarili na hindi nila nakikita that limitation to themselves. So nakakahanga lang na there are people na binigyan ng kakulangan pero ginamit nila yung kakulangan na yon para magkaroon palalo sila. So, when I always watch Nick Vujicic's inspirational messages na talagang it lifts me up. Kahit ako, I'm not belong to this differently abled person, pero dun ka na-realize how to accept them more, how to give them opportunities. And then also, if you know Oprah Winfrey is a sikat na parang television presenter. So, you know that Oprah Winfrey also comes from a broken family. Oprah Winfrey galing din siya sa mahirap. And Oprah Winfrey has sexual harass. So, nagkaroon siya ng sexual harassment before. But those experiences in her life does not define who or she is as a person. They use that to really uplift their lives, to achieve their dreams and goals in life. At makikita natin na they really achieve their goals in life, right? So, despite of the negative things that happen to them. So, I'm really happy with them, and this ability becomes them productive and happy individuals. And I hope you as a person listening to me that even though you are experiencing negative things, just remind those person who are differently abled persons who are striving to achieve their goals in life. Sana ma-remind kayo na you have to be like them. You need to have their minds and their hearts in order for you to achieve your dreams and goals and aspirations in life. Another group of people who are of the same condition with the differently abled persons are underprivileged or walang kakayahan naman sa buhay. They are called like that because they are poor materially. They are constantly struggling to find means for living. Apart from those with disabilities and the underprivileged, there are also others who are excluded from the groups of society because they have deemed different. Now, I want you to reflect on the people closest to you and evaluate if you have been engaging in genuine dialogue with them. Reflecting on our interactions with others can better inform us of the motivation of why we need to reach out for the others. The knowledge of our capacity for intersubjectivity will enable us to make better choices as we continue to relate with others and uphold positive relationships in our lives. So other than the differently abled persons or may kakulangan sa pagkatao, we also have this underprivileged which is walang kakayahan sa buhay. Katulad ng sinabi ko kanina, ito naman yung mga taong poor materially or hindi na ibibigay lahat ng pangangailangan sa kanila because they are in the underprivileged sectors na they're constantly struggling to find means for living. Ito yung mga tao na talagang nahihirapan kung paano makakaahon sa buhay na nararanasan nila. And one of them is yung mga taong hindi na nakakapagtapos ng pag-aaral. Ito yung mas inuuna nila, yung paano nila mapapakain yung kanilang mga sarili rather than to go to education, to uplift their minds, to have another learnings, pero they choose to really provide the means for their family, and that is very sad. Na I know they believe that education is one of the keys to success, but in their based on their experiences or in their situations right now, they have to choose to work early for them to provide the needs of their families. So ngayon, as based on the sinabi kanina, you have to reflect to the person closest to you and you must to be evaluate if you are genuine to them. Kayo ba ay nagiging totoo sa kanila bilang isang tao? Do you have authentic relationship with them? You have to know and motivated and you have to reach out them as a person. And ikaw naman bilang isang tao, when we look at other people, you have to accept them who they are and what they are as a person, regardless of their experiences in life, whatever they looks like, their races, their culture. You have to disregard that. You just need to accept them. Because if you accept them, you will have a positive relationship with other people. You will have a better life. At masarap sa pakiramdam na you don't have any enemy or wala kang kaaway sa paligid mo and you are just being authentic with them. Kaya nga, when we are hearing authenticity, being genuine, parang ang vague nun, di ba? But being genuine or being authentic to yourselves and to other people, yun talaga yung magpapagaan ng pakiramdam ng isang tao. Kasi alam mong wala kang natatapakang ibang tao, wala kang ginagawang masama sa kanila. You are just showing who you are as a person. And masarap kasama yung mga taong totoo sa kanilang sarili na walang tinatago, na walang bahid ng di magandang pakikitungo sa iba. They're just showing themselves. And kapag pinakita mo yung sarili mo of who you are as a person, doon mo makikita yung kung sino din yung mga taong genuine sa iyo. And also we have to be encouraged that kahit yung mga taong nandito sa underprivileged sectors or yung mga differently abled person or person with special needs, they are striving to be good. They're striving their best to achieve their goals in life. Ikaw pa kaya ngayon, hindi naman nakaka-experience nito,